Now we're started. You happy now, Mr. Grumpy Pants?
I'm not.
You are grumpy. You're grumpy.
It's the end. It's the
For
end.
everyone listening, Bill's gonna bum us out today. Anyway, it's an unprecedented couple of weeks since we last did the podcast, and we're a bit. We just thought we'd record a podcast.
We are on Wednesday, the 18th of March.
Yes.
So we've just had an announcement that schools are going to finish. We're all working from home. The rumours are that there's going to be a 2-week lockdown. So that's it. Because we might find that, a week from now it's so much worse, and they're like, "Oh, you're only just at the foothills," and we're like already despairing.
Yeah, we thought we'd release this almost instantaneously, and then because I basically see you're working from home already. Yep. I'm about to work from home tomorrow, and then I'm basically not coming in indefinitely. Is what apparently
I think that's
told.
what everyone's doing, and I think that was most of this week. I did a straw poll of the dads at my son's 4th birthday party. No one was going to work this week. So this has been the first week of working from home, and I mean, you're used to it. Actually, no, not the onanism celebration one would imagine.
It was at YouTube and chill.
It's been, Lucy and I are going to tear each other apart.
That's the worry, isn't it? Okay,
there's so many worries. I've got so many worries.
Right, stop bumming us out for 1 second. Let's imagine you're in a time capsule.
Yep.
So
I wish.
I would say the most unnerving thing that's happened to me today is I found out Pret are closing. I work in Farringdon, right in the middle, right next.
Prince Philip dying.
No, it's right next to Goldman Sachs. He hasn't.
Well, that's
right. Fair enough. That's your prediction.
No, that's what's happened, and they're not telling us about it because of no one could deal with it.
What? How do you know that?
Well, I've got angles, mate.
No, you're just making this up.
That I'm not.
Really?
Well, that's what people are saying. But it does come up 3 or 4 times a year.
Okay, fine. Okay, the most shocking thing to me was Pret are closing all of their shops, or at Tesco's, Boots, everything's closing near us in right next to Goldman Sachs office.
Sorry. The stock market has halved in value. The economy is collapsing.
Yeah.
Your elderly relatives are in threat. Your career's in major jeopardy.
Yeah.
And your biggest concern is that Pret is closing temporarily.
That to me is like the thing that would never closing.
Oh, I see. It's like the sun not coming up in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. So they made a 90% reduction in sales this week. So they've just
But they are McDonald's, aren't they? They're the same company as McDonald's. They'll be okay. What about all the...
But will they? If you across the board close every single shop that requires people to go in.
What about barbers and pubs and independent sandwich shops and Pret, mate?
I'm just saying that weirded me out. There's a little coffee shop just around the corner from us, and they said they only had a month's worth of cash, and they're going to close down. I was like, oh man,
yeah.
It's like those little things are weirding me out.
Yeah.
I cycled home outside the tube station. There's a load of newspapers strewn across the road. It was 28 days later, and the front cover was doing that, and it had London goes into close down. I was like, it's as close to an apocalypse as we're ever going to get in London.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it was going to get worse. I think there was some genuine. I don't know. Out in the high street near me today, it wasn't empty because people were buying things and getting ready, but no one was smiling or having fun or buying, sitting in restaurants. It's a very unusual mood.
I'm so used to cycling across Blackfriars Bridge, which is so busy. And this morning I cycled across it, and there was 10 people on it, and that is so unnerving when you're in the middle of London.
Yeah.
So any other positive news you want to spout?
There is no positive news.
God, for everyone listening, I came in about an hour ago expecting old happy-go-lucky Bill to meet me. Jesus, you've made me feel more positive. I was really bummed out when I got here.
I tell you what, do you want to know what the heart of my bummed outness is?
Yeah, go on.
I had this great plan to basically leave and go and stay with my brother who lives in Aberdeenshire, and he's just had Well, his dog has just had 8 Labrador puppies, and he's got chickens, and he just lives in a wood, and we're going to take the kids. And Lucy's basically vetoed it and said she wants us to stay here and support her with her work in journalism through this difficult time. And we're going to be locked in the house for weeks. And I'm like, I had this great plan. And there's no reasoning with a woman's relationship with her children and wanting to be close to them. And I kind of appreciate that. But I don't
know. Why? So why is she still working then?
Well, she's news. News is.
I know, but like I thought you had to quarantine yourself.
No, we're going to have a bit of a final summit around. But people are saying from tomorrow night, it's going to be you need to go out just to the pharmacy or food shopping, and you're going to be in your house, and that's it.
So there's a few people in our office who live in flat shares with like 3 or 4 other people, and it's not big enough to live in, let alone spend a large quarantined amount of time. So our office are just saying, look, we're not going to be in here, but if you want to come in, it's open to you. You know, if you can cycle and walk here and you feel it's safe.
Well, they should go and live in it.
Yeah,
That'd be
exactly.
Nice. Just going to stay in a bit more.
So is in terms of like resilience, what's like make strategy just don't come in at all?
We've closed the office.
The office isn't even open at all?
I mean, there is security there to make sure there's no like looters and stuff taking all of our things. But
that is unprecedented. Isn't it?
It is unprecedented. And it's
scary. Man.
You know, the truth is, we'll be fine. You know, like we've got some great projects. We've got some understanding clients. We're all quite used to remote dialing in. There was a big push anyway to get us all. Okay, you're not maybe 100% productivity. We'll be fine. And in the same way, like Pret will be fine. You know, we don't have a God-given right, but what about like small businesses?
Yeah.
You know, joking aside, it's a really horrid time. I mean, we've all worked for like small practices or small businesses that, you know, every invoice is like critical to salaries. And I think it's a very sad time.
My uncle and aunt own like a bed and breakfast down in Brixham and another a holiday home. And like normally you can rely on one to offset the other when times are bad. They're like, no, there's no bookings.
No bookings, and their pension will also have. Yeah, finished.
It's crazy.
So, what is the opportunity here?
Wow. Okay, I'm glad you asked. So, this is what I wanted to know about what Make are doing was because we've kind of implemented this full management emergency strategy meeting. That's where it was today. But in terms of like how we're going to communicate, how are you going to? I got that. How are you going to? Maintain. I'm back on you. How are you going to maintain like positive like communication with everyone, like Skype calling and messaging and stuff, and trying to.
Weirdly, we've found that communication has become a lot more informal because it's remote. So we set up a WhatsApp group for each project and for various different teams. So you're a number of you're part of different ones, and that has inevitably led to more memes and stupid stuff and. It's brought us a lot more. Like I think it helps the team in some ways. Like your productivity, it's difficult to recreate that thing of just sitting next to each other all day. It's difficult to recreate having consultants in and talking to them all day. But actually, you've got loads of fun and stupid communication with your team. You can go to way more meetings because they're all just Skype calendar bookings, and you click on one and you talk. And so you're talking all day. So you're just like. You're banging through the meetings. You know, everything gets captured in the documents. So if you're a manager like me, where most of it's like a lot of it is verbal, everything goes in a document, and you know, and then you can turn to it. So it's a slightly different working method. But I just can't, you know, no reference to the work that I do, but I think it is quite difficult to concentrate on the design and coordination of small elements of a major project when you're worried about your parents' well-being, you're worried about your children's childcare, you're worried about your mortgage repayments, you're worried about what this means for your career or the revenue of your employer over the next 6 months. That's something we're going to struggle with, I think. Like, how do you make work relevant when we're all facing rather kind of existential questions?
So we've there's obviously some of the more senior team are all used to working from home and used to working remotely, but there's a whole series of part ones, part twos, new architects who have never worked from home.
We've got a new starter today.
Yeah.
Literally, I rang him on Skype.
Yeah, how's it
Really
going?
disconcerting.
So we've set up like a mentor team. So like everyone has to check in every day, and it's not a work related call. It's just to like tell us how you're feeling, what can we help with, and the team leaders have the other people's teams in their mentor group. Just little things like that. Because actually, like if you work from home, it's a bit lonely after a couple of days. You actually want a bit of like connection. If you are literally on your own in a flat and you rely on coming into work, so we're trying to build all those like nice soft skills into the day.
There's a big difference, isn't there, between working from home and being quarantined at home. So I think we've only just begun to deal with it. I think working from home is fine because actually you go for a run or you spend another hour with your kids having breakfast and it's quite good fun and that value is really important and then you're quite efficient. Being quarantined at home, I think it's going to be like some awful reality show. I genuinely like, my concern is like not actually how cohesive our teams are. I think it's helped that and there's that sense of pulling together. My concerns are civil unrest and criminality and people going cuckoo and wide scale divorce and I just like I think it's a very difficult time. I don't think this podcast should be talking about like we had a webinar from LBS today on managing through
London Business School.
Managing through a pandemic, and I was kind of watching it and I was thinking, yeah, but I'm freaking the fuck out here, like no, I get it, like you project and you give direction where you can, but you can't help but wonder into some of these what is going to be the impact on our society of this after it's all gone. I mean, like big things like this idea that's so clear now that your collective health and well-being is only as strong as the weakest members of your society. We with our NHS are better prepared for it than most, but it's such a clear representation of like how people should approach health. Our financial systems are not fit for this kind of oscillation in the economy. I mean, that's pretty difficult to prepare for, to be honest, but like, what are we going to do about that? Like, our pensions and the capital markets are sensible ways to prepare for your old age. It's like, I think there are going to be some big questions that come out of this.
I'm fascinated to see if, we'd be foolish not to like predict what they've been doing in Europe. And if they do apply the kind of same sort of slightly more rigorous ways to quarantine people, that's just terrifying. It's just so scary.
You have got a guest lined up, haven't you?
Talking of being quarantined, we do have some people who... why don't you introduce them while I'm...
Well, we were thinking, we wanted to get some guests on and we've contacted loads of people. And just as they were all about to come, everyone's quarantined at home. But thanks to... the internet and Skype, we're going to pull in two of our early sponsors who are students at Newcastle University. And I am interested to speak to them, among other people, about how the university is dealing with it, what the future looks like for them, whether there's a difference in perception from perhaps people of our age and people who are a few years younger. I'm at a university at the moment and they are taking loads of the learning into a virtual environment. And it presents some challenges, actually, because, I don't know, there's so much content already online. And you go to mix with the other students and to make friends and to hear the speaker directly. So
here we go. So they're coming in.
Hello.
Okay.
Hi.
We're back in. Okay, hang on. Let me twist you around to Bill. There you go. Bill wants you.
Hello, how are you?
Not too bad, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. So we're just talking a bit about like I'm seriously gloomy about this whole thing in every dimension, railing from the civil unrest which is inevitably going to arise from all of this, to the halving of all everybody's wealth, to the impact it has on our careers, to the lack of revenue for all of our companies in a few months' time.
Bill's being a grumpy bastard,
To
basically.
Really
yeah, sort of everything, to the fact that I'm finding it quite difficult to concentrate on solving other people's problems for money when my mind is tracking to sort of this existential crisis, which isn't. And one of the elements is I'm a business school, which I bang on about occasionally, and they're taking all of our learning into a virtual environment. And one of the reasons I'm there is because of all the network and the people, and the fact that sitting in front of these fantastic professors and hearing it firsthand has a much bigger impact on me than just watching stuff online, of which there is plenty. And it made me think, what if it was your first degree and a major part of your life? So I'm gonna start with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really weird. I think Newcastle was the last one in the northeast to sort of decide, oh, we actually need to do something about this, because Northumbria and Durham both decided to cut off a little sooner, and then Newcastle was sort of the last one to go, and then it's only tomorrow when studios and library are going to be shut. But
what are you guys doing then after tomorrow?
So on Monday we'll have our first kind of virtual tutorial, which will be like a video call, and we'll upload at work for them to see beforehand, and then I think it'll be like a 20-minute call with them. So it's going to be a new experience for the tutors and us, and we have no idea how it's going to go.
And are you staying in halls?
No, we do have a house, but
you're in that house you're quarantined in that house essentially.
Oh no, we're
going home. We're going home tomorrow. So the university advised if we can go home, then go home back to our families.
So that means, yeah, go on, carry on. Sorry.
So, well, like, what would they do with the student accommodation? Because they're saying like maybe you can't live there if you're in a first year and you've got student accommodation. Do you get your money back when they're asking you to leave?
So there's going to be a big economic fallout of, all this stuff. I think is very, people think it's light, but the Prime Minister advising people not to go to theatres, but not closing the theatres. It's all about the relationship with insurance companies and like when you call it a pandemic, you get your money back from your holidays. These are like massive decisions. So there's going to be all that economic fallout. But in real terms, you're going to go home to your families, which I guess is kind of cool. You're going to miss all the university experience that sits outside the classroom. Yeah. And it might be kind of, okay, we're going to roll into the Easter holidays and it's fine. And then there's going to come a moment in April where we all realise that this isn't not that fun anymore, and maybe this summer term is in jeopardy. What's the reality of that, or who knows?
It's so strange. Like my flatmate moved out yesterday, and his mum just came to pick him up as though like that's the end of uni. And
he's completely moved out. I don't think he plans on coming back.
That's
I think that
crazy.
Are you a third year though, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, sorry, yeah, we are 30.
So he's like, that's it.
They don't see us coming back for a final hand-in or a portfolio interview or anything.
Graduation's been cancelled, so we don't, there's nothing really to come back for as of yet.
Do you know what? It's crazy to me to think. I remember that experience really vividly. It's things like this that
not graduating
that are so unusual to get used to. It's so unprecedented that we're trying to get used to. Like, that's it. The end of my university career is just kind of like, I'll just remotely log in. That's
And
I think
Sorry, go on.
No, go on.
Well, because like for us, we don't have exams, but then like other courses like history are doing like exams online, and so is that fair that you're doing the exam online, and while years before you didn't, and you can easily cheat on that.
Yeah, how do you police that?
And like we're not getting teaching for that.
Yeah, and you can't cheat. I mean, how unfair, right?
I
get that.
Like other courses get that opportunity.
No, sorry, I wasn't saying that. I was just saying that compared to other years.
And also, I think they're a big part of critting and talking about a portfolio is that physical experience of looking at the exhibition, seeing the person kind of sweat a little, and that is quite difficult to put remotely. What an incredibly difficult time. So, are you the only guys left in the house now, or are people
Couple left.
But I think over the next week, we'll see most of us leaving. Just kind of one or two staying. But yeah.
But like, our flatmate's from Ecuador, and she can't go home, so she's sort of stuck in the house on her own. I feel really bad, but like, there's just no way to go home. So,
well, that's all right. At least she'll then be kind of quarantined. What about the rest of the town in Newcastle? Because we walk around, I'm in Hackney, and the pubs are empty, and the restaurants are closed, and there are people about in the street, but no one's laughing, and it's weird because we're not really panic buying, but you're like, you don't know how, it's not a problem till it's a problem. But at Newcastle, I can't imagine them not going to the pub if they've all been sent home.
Yesterday the bars were packed, and a lot of all the medical students have been like accelerated, so they've all graduated already. They've not got to finish the year. They were all out yesterday and the day before.
Is that so that they can go to his work and help straight away?
I think that must be part of it. Yeah.
Wow. Honestly, it's like an end of the world thing. Like that last night out, everyone's just going crazy. It's like before you go on a spaceship to Mars or something.
Yeah. You're like, you can tell your colleague how in love you've been with them for all that time.
That's amazing.
For example,
that medical students are being released early.
Qualified. It's like the start of a war where they're like, you seem fine, go and run some important. Wow. So is it feeling like? Do you feel sad that moment is taken away from you, or do you think it gives you a bit of a head start now? You can go and start like planning the rest of your lives, or is it just the uncertainty that we're all feeling? Exemplified sort of thing.
It's just I think it's uncertainty for us because we still don't know. We've still got the course to finish, so we've still got a building to design, and we've got a massive hand in, and that was going to be like a physical hand in where you look through it and you have an interview. And
then what do you do after that beyond? Beyond the job, like when we leave uni and then we go and find a job, but people aren't hiring.
If there going to be any jobs, we don't know.
Yeah. Like, do you know what you're doing at Mate or Head?
Well, okay. For example, there will be jobs and there will be loads of problems to solve. That's the other thing. So all the jobs that have gone on kind of hiatus are going to need to be delivered. So absolutely, and we're still receiving and interviewing. We had a guy who started today that had to. I mean, it's so weird. I had to Skype him and he was in his flat, and I was like, this is strange for us. So we're still hiring, we're still looking for people. One of our challenges, for example, is that no one's going to take any holiday, because why would you take a holiday when there's nothing to do with it and everything's closed? But if everybody comes back in, say, August, and we have to like catch up on all this work, we can't then have people saying, I've got 4 weeks holiday kind of thing. So we're on a balance of saying, look, this is a balance where you're working from home. If you find you haven't done any work, could you take the odd day as holiday as a sort of, in return for that trust, sort of to cut a bit of a deal. But we will have loads of work and there'll be loads of opportunities. But I can see a long time alone trying to get your portfolios ready for an employer without having all that momentum and pressure that tutors and crits provide is not easy. But keep the faith.
As an employer, would you look on that and go, oh, I can see I know the circumstance in which you made this. I'll look on you.
I have to say, like, so much of it is, that's a non-corona cough. I did that today in a meeting. Jesus. And someone, a couple of days ago in a meeting, and someone just slid some hand sanitizer over to me and looked away. No, I wouldn't. Like, hiring people is so much about who they are. It's not about, oh God, I think he lost his way on that last project. It's about positivity. Are they going to learn quickly? Are they going to be fun to work with? So all the reasons you're going to have great careers are already in place. So don't hang on it. My sadness is it's a fun time of life, leaving university and thinking, that was a lot of pressure we were under, and I'm going to have 2 months. I'm going to go to, Antigua for a month and all that, and I just make sure that you've still earned that, and don't just start listening to your parents say, oh God, because I mean, like, I love my family and they're super positive, but this is like knocked everyone for 6. They're in like the kind of danger zone from a health. Imagine being 70 and every news report you read is, well, we'll all be fine unless you're 70. They're like,
Yeah.
what? You would like, you've been telling me I'm going to live till 100 until like today.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
That's yeah. I mean, it's interesting, the whole working from home side of things, because you have to a day you can kind of just sit on a desk and kind of work. A week, maybe a month, you've got to set up a whole proper setup at home.
Okay, well, why don't we get you a job? Who would you like to work for? Have you thought about it?
Hector or me? Or out of
No,
anyone?
out of anyone out of anyone. Stick it out. Okay, you might actually not. It might not be advisable to respond because you might close a few doors.
We're both pretty open to them, really.
Okay. Well, maybe in return for being dialed in on this, we'll everyone we interview will mention these guys. Are you gonna
Hang on, there's always a job available at Heta for you guys. Okay, we're hiring. I'm just saying.
Nice. Yeah, roll the dice.
Anywhere.
Where are you? Dare I ask where you're going to live after your degrees?
I think we're both going to try to go to London.
The plan, if you'd asked us a month ago, we would have both said we were going to go down to London.
Yeah.
Since the Corona thing, it's up in the air, but I think ideally London. Yeah.
Guys, we're London. We're ahead of the curve on Corona. By the time you move down, it will be a done deal.
It'll already be over.
But there is a. I know we've spoken a bit about some of the political challenges. I think there are going to be seismic changes in our society on the back of this, and getting into the built environment and public policy, like, the crashing of the capital markets, is that a sensible way of preparing for the future is one. We're only as strong as the weakest members of our kind of society in terms of health is another. I think like some of these issues are going to become mainstream, like universal basic income. How we compensate everyone after this for, why should you let off someone from their mortgage and not let off someone who's renting a property? And then what does that mean for landlords? And, these are like complex problems. And I know you're interested in design, but like there is going to be a whole shitty mess to clean up on the back of this. And you could get into some really exciting work that relates to any one of those as well.
That'd be great. Like if there was like a think tank sort of dedicated to sort of responding to these things, that'd be like a great thing to go into. Or,
I mean, yeah, there's the whole remote working is going to revolutionize in the next couple of months. I mean, you can't buy a webcam for more people using it. Microsoft Teams have noticed they've had 1,000% increase in the people using it. It's going to be an absolute game changer in the way we work.
On that, like genuinely, the comment I'd met is there's an amazing guy called Paul who runs the Careers Centre at London Business School, and he sent me an email this morning saying, actually, he's like, look, he's not one of these like, oh, there's always an opportunity, but he is always an opportunity. He's like, when you get jobs or you pitch for work, as in career work, people want real examples of when you've been able to make a difference, or when you've shown leadership, or times that you've done things that differentiate you from other people. And this is an opportunity to show, well, when we were asked to work remotely, we did this to facilitate it. It was a really unusual circumstances, but I didn't play PlayStation and eat my mum's lasagna. We set up this group to address this problem in a certain way.
Yeah,
and there is a real chance to say, actually, all bets are off here. We could come up with a creative way to solve some of these challenges, like this, like remote graduation, or like just setting up some sort of community.
Yeah.
And that when people say, how the hell did you deal with that? You can say, do you know what good came out of it because we set up something or other? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, because there's this like thing we saw on Twitter the other day. This tutor had made this website for students where it was just like a thing, like a sort of an online thing, and you could just write on it, almost like sort of
It
was like a live drawing
sketch,
thing that anyone could join. And this tutor had just made it
for
like
a student.
as a tool.
And so we were on it, like chatting to this guy called Greg, We
met a guy called Greg. Out on it. Great.
So much fun.
I do
Like,
think
those things that come out of it.
you guys should also be quite happy about this. Everyone's now going to be forced to work from home. Everyone's got to communicate via Skype. And actually, we said this when we met you guys. You guys have a great advantage for being like, you're good at talking.
So good looking.
It's just so naturally good looking. But like, everyone's got to communicate via Skype now all the time. As I think it's like, if you're good at that, it's definitely an advantage, because some people are just incapable of communicating.
What's the big trick is talk for slightly longer than you would in a normal conversation and then stop. Is that the trick?
Yeah. Because of the delay. Yeah.
Mate, what's
Classic.
the secret of comedy? Guys, thank you so much for joining in. Like, what a difficult time, but cheers. Good luck.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
See ya.
Bye. Oh, do you know what? That's made me all like reminisce about uni. I mean, that's like they're in the danger zone for like that. Those last 2 months are just horrendous at uni, aren't they?
I'd have loved missing that.
You'd be like, oh, I've got to stay at home now.
I'm like, yeah. I remember all that crap you were giving me about my graduation. Be like, yeah, I'm just gonna. They'll have to mark them all really generously.
Yeah.
I think it's a weird time anyway, leaving university. You don't know who you are. You've left the sort of, oh, I'm an architecture student. Suddenly it's like, I think it's difficult. But joking aside, like if we were looking for a time to pivot, this has brought up so many real exciting challenges. Like I was just thinking, what can I do for my neighbours? Like I thought I might just go and reconnect. I mean, some of them I'm friends with, but
as they poke a shotgun out the door saying like we're quarantined.
Actually, it's not like that.
Well, okay, so being serious as well, like when I had a month off of paternity leave, I had a month off. That is a long time to be at home and decouple from London and your job and that job environment. And it gives you time to kind of reassess everything. And I came back and with 3 months, I decided to leave something. I think there'll be a lot of, you said, how can you concentrate on work when you've got all these very serious things with a much greater volume in your head? I think there's going to be a bit of kind of soul searching and stuff, I think. We'll all come out, it'll look the same, but everyone will feel very differently.
I think that's right. And I think there'll also be a big cultural response to what has happened. Like, what are we really, like, who, is our time our own? Is it our employer? I mean, I've bought a lot of stretched canvases and paint, and I'm going to do the COVID series.
Do the mural, right? Everyone in the camera. This big blank wall here was supposed to be a bloody mural.
Is that the wall?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do it. Oh, hello.
We have another guest.
We have another guest.
Do you want to introduce everyone that's just come in, Bill?
So we've got 2 new guests. My partner Lucy and Sylvia, who looks after our kids. And hello. It is hello.
Bill's been really depressing. He's been talking non-stop about how the world's going to end. You've perked up a little bit during the podcast.
We just have to change the way we do things, about things we've taken for granted for years.
This is the new
forever,
the new now.
Lifetime.
So that has been one of the things that's come up to it. We've dialed in some friends from Newcastle. They're halfway through the last year of their degree, and everything's been cancelled. The graduation, the last year of the last term, and they're going home and they're moving out their flats.
If I had been taking my A-levels now, instead of being vastly older than that, I would have ended up going to Newcastle University because I would be given my predicted grades instead of my actual grades.
Is that what? I don't think people are going to be given their predicted grades. I think they're going to have to.
They are.
Are they?
They're going to either be given their predicted grades. No, and I've been listening to it
to
all
a couple
the way.
of.
I'm not talking about people already at university. I'm talking about GCSE and A-level students.
I like having on you on my side of the desk. This is good. Finally, I can put Bill back in his box.
Sorry, Bill, I won't hold much.
Well, another thing.
Bill's contribution to the economy since working from home as to boost public parks, tennis court submissions. Or
Hang on.
he's played
hang
tennis
on.
twice in 2 days.
Hang on. Go on, Bill. Camera's on you. When did you play tennis?
I played during my lunch hour today and during my lunch hour.
Hang on.
Yesterday.
Sylvia, you probably are aware when Bill actually played.
I am not really agreed with what Bill said about playing in the lunchtime. Well, I don't know his lunchtime hours. Maybe
I
they're
know
longer
his
than
lunch hours.
mine, but yeah.
Generally
Yeah.
1 till 2. So
That's a good point. What do you think his lunchtime hours are? From like 1 till 6? Is that
If I can be very honest, they were-
no?
I
You
don't want to
invite.
lose my job.
we're all going to lose
Maybe
those,
I should
Sylvia.
stop now.
The embarrassing truth is, I played tennis against Sylvia for one of those hours.
Oh, I wish.
And yeah, I mean, the beauty of working from home is when you take your lunch hour, it can fit around your
Because you got up
meetings.
really early, did all the work, and then you finished. That's probably
To be
how
fair
it works.
to him, he does get up early.
No, don't justify him. This is too much fun. So also we found out all the nurses have been graduated early. All at the university, they're all done, finished early. They can now go.
Not nurses, doctors, all medics.
Because they're needed.
Because they need it. And Newcastle has a big medical school. So one of the things we might as well talk about while we've got these star guests is the realities of working from home, the changing dynamics that puts on families.
Are you guys going to stay in this
I'm
house?
just going to say, these guys are delighted to have me back around the house during the thing, because now we're one big team.
I
working-
fear for my mental health more than coronavirus with working from home.
I would
with
say
you
that,
around.
like, internal assaults between loved ones will spike dramatically over the
I
next
think
12
once
weeks.
this period is over, we'll have our own baby boom because people will get bored. And what else do you do when you're bored?
I'd say the reverse.
Or divorce lawyers will be very, very busy after coronavirus.
Lucy and
dies
I
down.
are getting married on
Or are
New
you?
Year. Well,
Exactly.
the odds are lengthening, but most guys, they get a little break from Wedmin when they go to work, but not this one. We just knuckle down into the fine detail about it. But anyway,
If it even happens.
it's
Hang
going
on,
to
I want to know, you're still working and are going to be working.
Yes, if I don't go
You
to
have to
work,
talk to the
then
public,
that is
don't you? Ooh.
worrying.
Yeah.
I'd be more concerned if I wasn't working, Ben, than if not.
Oh, really?
If I-
So you're going to carry on presenting the news
Yeah,
and being...
I'll carry on. Yeah, even if London locks down or the country locks down,
Why?
road closures come in place, I have a pass.
Do
that
you?
Will maybe will give us dispensation.
Oh, look at Bill, livid he doesn't have the same level of autonomy in London. That's the coolest thing ever.
You might build the buildings, but it won't give you access.
I'll be doing my natural role, which is keeping the home fires burning.
That's Sylvia.
No, so they'll be locked down.
Oh,
so,
true.
Yeah, so Bill
Then
be
you
on his
really will
own.
be keeping the home fires burning, Bill.
I've got to
How
say
do you
this
feel
is
about that?
hugely satisfying to watch.
I feel really confused. Like I can see the look of terror in Sylvia's eyes when she realizes I'm going to be around all day.
She's like, what, all the time?
It's not easy, Bill, with you be around because boys, they behave differently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's
That is
very-
It's
exactly
not like
what...
I don't like your company. It's just,
Well, you
it's
know,
different.
within
It
reason.
makes Sylvia's job more challenging.
I would say I have the exact same effect on my children. Beck's got a very good system.
Yes.
Everyone's well behaved. Everyone understands consistency and repetition. and then I
Everybody
come in and
knows
destroyed.
everyone
yeah.
has their role, plays their role, and it works.
I've got a good idea. We're going.
Hi, Daddy's home all the time.
Exactly.
I don't do that. I don't do that. I stay and I hide in my study. But we're going to need to come up with a sort of city within a house type kind of system here, like cutting our days into different chunks, like when who does what, like educational play, fun play, cooking, daddy's
That's what I
work,
always do
mummy.
with your kids.
Look at Bill going, no. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course.
But there
am-
must be loads of people around London,
I've sent a chart already.
around the world.
We did
Uh, who are dealing with these kind of new normals, like working from home, and Ben's touched on it earlier in the program. Like, actually, people live in these dense house shares of 6 people, and asking them to work from home it's not really fair. You know, they've got a bedroom, but actually they're kind of high risk environments. There are lots of different people coming through them, and it's easier to come for work. They cycle into work. There's a bit more space, and it's going to put a lot of pressure on people. And I genuinely think there is a limit on how much people will put up with this before it's a sort of civil unrest.
What's interesting is our office is prepping for the fact that all of the Tesco's, the Pretts that I've talked at length about, they're all closing within 100 meters of where we work. They're literally like, well, what if people want to come in? There's none, they can't go to any shops. There's nothing. So they're like, we have to just think about what they're going to do. There might be 5 part 1s and part 2s that might just come in. They just choose to come in. They can walk or cycle from home.
Bring a sandwich from home.
Yeah, but it's like it's all of the systems that you're normally used to. I mean,
it's everything you take for granted.
Yeah,
has changed.
And I know Boris has said
remarkable
no to martial law style protection, but you know, a lot of what's happened in other countries has slowly migrated to us. But the idea that they might restrict movement seems outrageous. But
what do you think the big issues we're facing are?
That we're facing?
Yeah.
There are too many. Do you
think they'll keep the tube open?
No. I don't think they'll keep the tube open.
These are like things that haven't happened since the World War.
They've already reduced public transport in London. The mayor announced that yesterday.
Really?
So it's only a matter of time before they shut that.
Do you know what I think we should do? Paint the house. Every inch of it.
During your lunch break.
Oh, sorry. Please, will you save
But you know, that's the kind of project you need.
You've got work to do.
Yeah, I've got work to do. And I can't play tennis if they like us in, can we?
So are they keeping ITV open the whole time? They're not closing any offices?
Unless somebody in our newsroom gets it at the moment. There's someone in the building who's had it. Oh, actually, tell a lie, one of our presenters. She's not necessarily got it, but she's in isolation.
Do you know what? So the thing that we had a big like round table kind of discussion of like, what are genuinely people's fears? Don't worry about management listening. Like, what is it you're worried about? And the general concern is no one wants to be that one person that comes in ill and didn't realize, you know, like I know no one can prove it, but if you accidentally like, and you're clearly ill by the end of the day and the next day other people are ill, there's a bit of a social outcasting that I'm sure might not happen, but there's a chance. Dismissive. It's so dismissive.
You don't think? We had somebody who came back from Italy recently and he was asked to stay at home for one day. And whilst they ummed and ahed about whether he should come in or not, and then sure enough, the next day he was in because they put the measures in place in Italy. Was it the Friday or the Saturday? And the Monday, and he travelled back on the Friday. But
there is a lot of social...
You have to have a line somewhere, don't you?
There is a lot of social tension about... What, you went for a beer last night? That's the kind of irresponsible thing to do. I mean, I didn't. I'm not irresponsible.
That was your first words to me. You said, going to your office is bordering on neglect, is what you said. I know, the outrageous statements he throws out.
Guys, I am...
Tell me about it. Do you have any idea how many outrageous statements he comes out with
I think you and I should have a
day?
podcast about Bill and about it's just his general attitude.
Can I just say,
he loves that too much.
I have gone into lockdown. I mean, my fingers are like...
Oh, here we go.
Like
raw from all the cleaning I've been doing.
From all the cleaning, all the happy birthdays I've been singing. It's like a non-contact environment. I am... in personal hygiene lockdown, and I want all those close to me because there's no point doing it hard. Imagine if you go make all these sacrifices and then something happens and you sort of let it slip. It's like, yeah, we're doing this now.
So you've not been into a shop today. You've not talked to any. You didn't.
I know, but we have all these things. Like when I do my keypad and my pen, I do like this, and.
But okay, so
for the listener, I was covering my hand with my
at a very small level. When I came in and said I'd been at work, you were like, "What do you mean I've been at work?" You were all weirded out that I'd been at work, and then I explained to you. But it's that kind of moral grey area of like one of the guys at work, both his flatmates have quarantined themselves, not quarantined, but are working from home. But he's coming into London to come and work for us, and they're annoyed with him because they're like, "What's the point in us being at home if you're just going to keep coming back and forward?" Anyway,
maybe we should come back in a week, either dialing in remotely or not, and we should see how
ill we all are.
Life has been. Yeah. I'm willing to bet we've gone on like an absolute house on fire, and we've cooked some of the exciting meals.
Sylvia looks like that, and Bill is not.
Sylvia's already cooked an exciting meal, so that's 1 point to Sylvia.
And Sylvia and I've got some arts projects to do, and we've got some table tennis planned, and we've got all sorts of exciting things. But we're going to release this tonight or tomorrow morning, and things are going to move fast. So
And the reason the microphone wasn't here and the other headphone is that I'm going to take them home. So when I'm at home, I can Skype you and we can record this. So you record this on this, and I record mine on my amp at home, and then we can combine the audio so it's perfect. So it doesn't
This
sound.
is fascinating for Sylvia now. Have you had dinner? Because I'm starving.
You are live on our podcast, okay?
Well, you can edit me
You're
out,
not in the
can
bloody
you?
ITV now, okay?
we're going to call in some other people next week as well. So it's going to become a bit remote for the next few weeks.
Yeah.
But thank you for listening.
Thank you. Bye.